What's going on in Scamper? Gosh, retake on the video. The sun kept going in and out, and it just kept messing up the exposure. Like, oh my gosh. But anyways, this is a video about why the UK job market is a mess. My personal experience and things that I have learned for applying for jobs for about a year now. For many years, the pursuit of higher education was the gateway to a nice paying salary and a comfortable job, a comfortable life, whatever you want to say. Well, not anymore. I have spent over a year looking for jobs and I cannot find one. I know what you're thinking. Boo hoo, another graduate complaining that they can't find a job. Yes, that is me. But I've learned so much about the current state of the market, so much that it honestly just puts me off applying. But I obviously still do apply because it's a dead man's game, not applying. But there's this cloud that's telling me what is the point anymore. So today I'm going to teach you, expose whatever, some of the things that I've learned about the job market that is essentially the barriers, the things that are stopping UK graduates from getting a job. So the first barrier, everyone should know about this, and if you don't know about this, you're seriously behind. That being ATS systems, which stands for Automated Tracking System. Now picture this, you're a recruiter, you've just posted up a job and you need to fill in the job within a week, 2 weeks, whatever. The job has received 500 applications from the city it's advertised for, cities from around the country, and from other countries. That's a lot of different kinds of people. More so, most of them are probably qualified for the job as well. That makes the life or the job of a recruiter nearly impossible, given they have a certain amount of time to fill the role. That's where ATS systems come into play. They basically scan all the CVs and match the CVs that have the most words that match the job specification. This means that you could very well be qualified for the job, but because your CV doesn't have enough of the matching words to the job post, it will automatically get put in the rejection bin and never seen by an actual person. This means you have to play the game of customizing your CV for every single job you apply for, a game which is much more punishing on your mental health than Dark Souls. And requires more commitment than Baldur's Gate.
It's a full-time job and it's extremely time consuming and it's not as easy as it may appear to some people.
But I digress, it's just painful. This means the average time to complete applications is longer, but don't fall into the trap of changing your CV to every single job. I recommend targeting a specific job role you want, for example, estate agent, social media manager, front of house assistant, whatever, and create one CV for each job role or job type. And you want to be taking the job specifications from different job posts of the same job role and applying that to your CV. This way, it saves you time and you can just spam out loads of applications for the same role, but I assume everyone knows. So, just to recap, you are going against AI when you apply for jobs, and you have to know or have a rough idea of what words the AI is looking for. But this wouldn't even be a thing if it weren't for the next barrier to entry. That being saturation amongst graduates versus a decline in actual jobs. So to put it shortly, it is very, very easy to get a degree nowadays. As someone that's got a degree and went to university, universities practically take on anyone. And the amount of bogus degrees that universities have taught is another reason, or one of the biggest reasons, for the rise in graduate. But if you have a degree that you may think is pointless or a bit too niche, please think long and hard about all the transferable skills you've learned, because the thing about getting a degree is it's just about getting a degree. It's not about what you have a degree in. It's just the fact that you can show employers that you can commit to something, and all the transferable skills that came from that degree, or you learn on the way, if that makes sense. So for example, I've got a media production degree, so I would want to work in TV, television, content creation, that sort of lane. But my plan B, if I still cannot get a job within a year or two, is to just apply for the detective graduate scheme, which in the UK, which basically lets you join the police force and work your way up as a detective constable. This is a graduate scheme that takes on anyone that has any degree. You just have to have that grade. So they don't need someone with a criminology degree. They just want anyone. So many organizations will do this, where you can apply for jobs where all they care about is the fact that you have a degree, not the subject it's in. So if you're struggling, try looking in other sectors. Another reason there aren't many jobs around, or decline in the jobs, is due to the government increasing the national wage and other policies that are way beyond my knowledge. This has deterred companies from hiring as many people as they would have back in the day, because now hiring just costs more money. This obviously means there are far fewer jobs. By a study I've seen, there are around 700,000 jobs available, and I think around 1 million graduates, something like that, or somewhere under or over 1 million graduates. So this upward trend in graduates and downward trend in jobs available is a clear sign that we are fast approaching dark times. My last 2 points are open for debate, but I recently found out that if you are applying for a corporate job and your name doesn't sound, let's say, white, you have a higher chance of being open to discrimination and bias, lower chance of getting employed. So that's why personally, if I'm depending on the company I'm applying to, I will change my name to Joe, just because even though my name doesn't sound particularly like black, I think, I know that discrimination and bias is very prevalent within the corporate workspace. Another thing I'd like to speak about is regarding entry level or just normal jobs. So like, let's say just working at Tesco or working at a supermarket sort of jobs, because I hear that a lot, and I'm sure people that are in the same position as me that are just constantly applying for jobs, they've graduated, that can't get a job, are hearing from their parents, why don't you work at Tesco's? Why don't you work at so and so? Why don't you work in so and so? Well, one, maybe I'm just stupid, but I fail these assessments. They're very stupid, these assessments, in my opinion. Two, they hire, number two, and I have to word this very correctly, but there's sort of a nepotism that goes on within these work environments, where they have a scheme where you refer a friend, let's say in Tesco, and suddenly the whole workforce or half the workforce is dominated by a certain person of demographic, I don't know, certain ethnic a certain ethnic community. So for example, and this is literally truth, like this is fact for me. So when I go to my local supermarket, my closest one to my house, which is Budgens, which is a chain of Tesco, every single worker is of like Asian origin. Obviously I can't really tell specifically if they're Bangladesh or whatever, Indian, who knows, I don't know, but I can tell they're all Asian, if that makes sense. Every single one of them, to the point where when I first went in there a year ago, I was like, is the manager like what's going on here? Because it just didn't seem really. It's not reflective of the community in this area, which is very heavily mixed. My friend, who also works in Tesco, I asked him, could he get me a job in Tesco, and he is Lithuanian. He did this. He just shook his head and went, nah. I'll be real with you, like, they apparently, and I don't know if this is true, you can correct me, they have implemented something within businesses or supermarkets where I don't know, they can pay Asian workers less. They don't, it's some weird policy that basically encourages supermarkets to hire people of more Asian demographics, if that makes sense. It's just funny to notice how a couple of years ago anyone could have gotten these jobs, but now when you walk into these stores, it's predominantly dominated by one or two maximum ethnic groups. So it's just something I think about, if that makes sense. I'm not mad or angry or anything about it. I'm just observant. I just notice it. The last barrier that I'd like people to acknowledge as well is the gender inequality in the job market in, I guess, universities as well. So I did my research, and turns out that there are, I think, around about 450,000 male UK graduates, and there are 600,000 female UK graduates. So females, there are way more females than there are male graduates. I do wonder why. And then in terms of unemployment rate, there are a way higher unemployment graduate rate for males than it is for females, and this was just going off the UK government website. So women or females are more likely to get hired than males. Now, personally, because I did media production and I look at like social media jobs, I look at like content creation jobs, personally, I do notice that females do get hired for them sort of jobs way more. Like when it comes to like them social media jobs, marketing jobs, they are dominated by females. But if it's like a videographer or like just more technical role, then it's like a male, male dominated. So it's just something I notice, and something I can sometimes get frustrated with, but I know it's not reflective of the whole job market. It's just my specific industry that I look at, which is marketing and content creation. And also that the data reveals that after 5 years, females earn 12% less than males after the 5 year mark in the same position or in the same company. So that's something that's interesting. I wouldn't know why that is. I have theories, but I don't know why. I have theories that are just based off being a guy. So for example, like maybe the guy has a bit more drive. He wants, or men tend to, I'd say, have a bit more drive in them, or want to perform or do the best they can, or always improve. And I don't know. I'm just rambling here at this point. I could not answer that question, but you know, women are more likely to get hired, but after 5 years, men make more money. So it's something that's worth noting, worth thinking about. But yeah, this is just a couple of the reasons why I think the UK job market is cooked. If you agree with me, please comment down below. I'd love to have a discussion. I'd love to hear people's opinions. I love hearing people's opinions on why they think or how the UK job market is just ruined. Okay, I don't like the term the UK job market is cooked, okay, because one, that term comes from America, but it really does accurately represent the UK job market. Okay, cooked, it's an overcooked steak. Okay, it's not much substance in it. You have to really dig around in that burnt steak just to find a bit of meat to fucking eat. And you get what I mean? You can't, I don't know, maybe that's a bad analogy. But if you've enjoyed this video about me talking, rambling about the UK job market, like, comment, subscribe. More importantly though, I care more about the comments, to be honest. What's your opinion on this? But yeah, it's been your boy Gamper. But yeah, I made this video after applying for 1,500 jobs. Still not hearing anything. People tell me, why don't I apply for normal jobs? But yeah, my sheet has just fallen down from my window. So this is the overexposure I was talking about in the beginning of the video. But yeah, it's been your boy Gamper. And that's me. That's me out. Peace.